Shields up, Armbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. And today I went out and I bought Witcher 3 for the Nintendo Switch. And there's a couple of reasons why I went ahead and I did this. And it's not necessarily because, oh man, I can't wait to play Witcher 3 on the Nintendo Switch, because naturally it's going to have significant, visual downgrades. It's not going to be as good looking as it is on the PlayStation 4, which is the version that I probably played the most, or even on the PC, which is the other version of Witcher 3 that I already own. Now, I bought it for different reasons. I've seen online that this is apparently a very complete version, like almost like an old school gamer's game. And I don't know how many of you guys nowadays will even be able to relate to that, because at some point I almost just feel like I'm this old man Rurikhan and is stuck in his old ways of physical media. Why don't you just buy all your games digital, man? Who needs old games? And it's just, there's always been something to me about the joy of, cracking open a new video game that actually has, something inside, as opposed to just like, nowadays you kind of open up a regular video game box and, there's not going to be a manual in there. You're lucky sometimes if you get a friggin' disc, because nowadays they actually sell games in boxes that don't even have discs. They got like a little card inside with a code, which completely defeats the purpose of actually buying a retail boxed version of a video game, at least as far as I'm concerned. Like, one of the things that I used to like back in the day quite a bit was manuals. I loved back in the day when video games have manuals, and I know that that's probably showing my age quite a bit, but I kind of feel like I'm not alone with that particular sentiment, right? Don't you guys just remember, like, you get back home, like maybe your parents got you the game, or maybe you got the game from like one of your first paychecks or something like that, and you get home and you crack open the box and you got the manual, and then maybe, you go have dinner or something, and in the meantime you're like, oh man, I gotta go to the bathroom or something. You pick up the game manual, and then you just like, you're in the bathroom reading the manual, and you look at the, the in-game footage, and you're trying to read up on the controls and all this stuff, man. I mean, am I the only one that feels like those were like the actual good days, Nowadays, most people, they just either redeem a code, or you go onto an online store somewhere and you just kind of buy like a digital version of a game. You download it. It's very convenient, but you no longer have the actual physical item. And something that I've heard they've done, I'm not sure, I haven't tested this myself, but I've heard that they were able to put the entirety of the game in the cartridge itself. So it's not like you put the cartridge in your console and there's like a 100 gigabyte download to your tiny ass Nintendo Switch storage device. I mean, I got like 400 gigs on mine, but I believe that probably most people have a little bit less than that. I mean, I had to do it that way because a lot of the stuff that I receive is unfortunately digital. People don't really deal in physical media all that much nowadays when it comes to, getting games from publishers and stuff like that. And I just kind of missed that experience of actually opening a gamer's game. And I do remember that back when I bought Witcher 2, I was super surprised because, like, it was this game that I bought it was only on PC, right? Yeah, that never came on console, so I bought that for PC. My PC was really old. It didn't even run the game properly. And the game still had, like, really bad DRM back then. Like, you guys might not even remember because of the strides that CDProjekt Red and GOG.com have done since then, and, promoting DRM-free software, right? But Witcher 2 actually had really bad DRM when you initially played it. Now, in my case, it didn't affect me all that badly, but there were people that were reporting, like, degradation in the magnitude of, like, 20% or something. Most people reported after they removed DRM because it was just so egregious that CD Projekt themselves were like, look, dude, we're doing right by gamers. Let's just get rid of all of this thing, right? And they completely got rid of the DRM that came with the game, and most people were reporting, like, an addition of 10 FPS on average after they had done the patch that had removed all that stuff, which was really cool. But not just that, but it was priced, I think, the same price as any other regular game, which in Portugal at the time was like 50 euros. Nowadays for console games it's like 70. But I mean, I'm talking like retail prices in regular stores where you just go and you buy stuff, right? But back in the day, it was a little bit cheaper. But anyway, it was priced just as any other game, but the difference was it had a bit of a bigger box, And I was like, man, what was the deal with that box? And I remember opening that box and it had all of this cool stuff inside it. And I really liked that experience. And I figured, you know, if this one has the same kind of treatment, I'd like to check it out. And that's why I kind of just went out and I bought it. It's mostly to support these types of practices from companies and publishers that actually put in a little bit of extra effort to, you know, to include a manual. I mean, that shouldn't even be considered extra effort, right? Like, that should be standard. But to put in a manual and put in a couple of goodies so that the gamers can actually get something when they are getting the physical version of the game. There's just not that many people that actually get physical versions, but you know, I just wish that more companies did this, right? But anyway, I wanted to share this moment with you guys. So I'm going to do a very unprofessional unboxing here. I know that my lighting in the hotel here is pretty bad, but this is as good as it's going to get for now. I actually, man, I should have brought like a box cutter or something. I don't even have a knife up here. Give me a second. Kids at home, don't do this. Don't open up like plastic boxes with your teeth. That's a terrible idea. So let me just get the cellophane off of this. No, it's not cellophane. Cellophane is how we say it in Portuguese. Saran wrap. Let me get the saran wrap off of this. I actually got the box. So this is an actual. It's like a cardboard box. Not really cardboard, just like a paper box that you have on top of the regular box. It's got your usual box art that you get with The Witcher 3. The game itself brings both of the expansions, so Hearts of Stone as well as Blood and Wine, and the 16 additional DLCs that they say here. These are like free DLCs that you were able to get. I don't know how many of you got Witcher 3 on release date when it initially came out for PC and consoles, but they had like 16 pieces of DLC that were completely free for everyone for just buying the game. Like, regardless of which version of the game you bought it digitally, you bought it retail, it didn't matter. You were gonna get 16 pieces of DLC for free, and then they added 2 proper expansions, which I never even gotten to play the expansions because I never finished Witcher 3. That's actually one of my failures as a gamer, never having actually finished Witcher 3, but for some reason I always struggled to really get immersed into the combat. And, you know, I love the story parts, the dialogues. Interestingly enough, I think I like playing Gwent against enemies almost more than combat. But, you know, the combat is still good, and a lot of people do enjoy it quite a bit. It's just, for whatever reason, it doesn't gel with me. But, yeah, it comes with all the expansions, and all of that stuff is included in the cartridge. So let's go ahead and open the box here and actually see all of the things that are inside. Oh, there's a little package here, which supposedly will have like all of the goodies. We're going to be taking a look at this one in just a bit. Let's see what else is in the box, though. Looks like it's just the game itself. So you got the game itself in this cardboard box. When we open the case, there's no manual in here, no nothing. I kind of wish that, I mean, particularly when it comes to Switch games, all of the Switch games that I've bought never really had anything here. Not a single one. Not a single one of the Nintendo Switch games that I've bought ever has anything on here. Now, in this case, it's probably because all of the stuff is inside here, which we'll be taking a look at and seeing what that's about. But yeah, we'll see all of that. It tells you, basically the artwork in here and in here is exactly the same thing, but this is your standard Switch case for games. I'm going to put this back inside here. And let's go ahead and take a nice look at this thing. So it's interesting enough, it's got like an arrow, so I figured, what, you want me to pull on this? But you're not actually supposed to pull on it. You're supposed to open it here on the bottom section. Let's see what we got. Let's try not to rip this open. I am doing this in a bit of an awkward angle, but let me try to show this for the camera. Ooh, it's got like a text. I mean, I can show you guys. It's got like this thing. I'm gonna actually read it. Welcome to, dear gamer. Welcome to a massive open world filled with stories that touch the soul, adventures that thrill, and secrets that will keep you exploring. The complete edition contains every piece of content ever released for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, 16 free DLCs, as well as the 2 story expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. That's well over 150 hours of adventure ahead of you. Everything made with love. We'd like to massively thank you for buying our game. As a studio, We think there's a lot of value in honest and transparent communication. So honestly and transparently, without you supporting us, there would be no us to begin with. It's because of you that we can make a living doing what we love, telling stories through video games. In return, we work as hard as we can to bring you extraordinary games. We hope you'll see that reflected in Wild Hunt. Here's to you having a fantastic time. Yours truly, everyone at CDProjekt Red. This is actually very humbling. It's very humbling that a developer still thinks like this. Then again, I mean, because at this point, when they made this edition of the game, like before they made Witcher 3, you know, Witcher 1 and 2, I always thought they were kind of like more niche, whereas Witcher 3 is much more like mainstream. It was very much a lot of people actually play Witcher 3, and you know, everyone that plays it pretty much gives it solid recommendations and stuff like that. So it's still very humbling that with all the success they've had with that game, they still have this kind of very humble attitude towards their audience. So we got 2 stickers here with the Witcher pendant, the Witcher amulet symbol right there. What's the... Ooh! Oh my god. I just saw some videos that said that like there was all this cool stuff, but I didn't really look into it that much deeply to see what it was. But Jesus Christ, you get an actual map of the game. Now this is paper, it's not cloth, but you know, it's still a map of the game. Like I don't remember when was the last time that I had a game that like came with a map. Then again, I haven't really bought games in a long while, and I know that I was just showing you guys the back of the map, but there you go, that's what the map looks like. You got the full map of where the game takes place, the map of the Northern Realms. It's pretty cool. So you got a map, and on top of it you have Witcher Universe Compendium. It's not really a manual, but it kind of works like... Oh! Dude, it actually gives you like... It gives you the background story. Gives you the background of like the Witcher world. It's in black and white, like the cover is printed in color, but the inside is just like straight up black and white. This is nice. Like, see, this is exactly what I would have wanted back in the day. Actually, this is exactly what I would want today for games to kind of like give you this type of treatment when you actually buy a game, you know? Developers that are humble, that develop a good product. They deliver everything in the cartridge instead of just relying on, you know, you having an internet connection and having to download and re-download the game 1,000 times over, because not everybody in the world has like a good internet connection. By the way, that was everything in the box. Like you get the stickers. What's this? You get the stickers, the thank you message, the map, and the book, and naturally the game itself, the cartridge, all of the DLCs, all that stuff. And I understand that probably Witcher 3, when it came out, it still required quite a few patches, if I remember correctly, before, you know, the game was actually better polished. Because when it came out, it was not the most polished thing ever. I think we're all aware of that. But, you know, they stuck with it. Even though it wasn't the most polished thing ever, though, it was still a complete product that came out. Even if you didn't have an internet connection, you should be able to play the game through all the way and have a good time with how polished everything was. But they still had like the 16 DLCs that you did have to download. In this case, you have everything on the cartridge, but it just, opening up a game like this just kind of like takes me back. It takes me back a long way, man, because we don't have this kind of treatment anymore with retail experiences. With the standard versions, like, sure, there's collectible, you know, there's collectible editions and stuff like that, and, you know, with the big cases and all of that. But I'm just talking about, you know, the standard edition of the game, because not everybody gets to buy, you know, the big collector's edition, because some people do really good jobs with collector's editions. But not every gamer is going to be able to afford that. So it's nice when you get the standard edition of the game, you still get some other goodies to kind of like get you excited about this thing that you just spent a large sum of money on, as opposed to buying a game nowadays, which is like you buy it and then people are still patching it throughout months and you have to re-download the game time and time again. And to me personally, it's not really a big problem nowadays, because I do have decent internet connections. Like I have 100 down at home. I have 800 down here at the hotel. So downloading stuff is not a real problem, but there's a lot of people that don't have that. And for a lot of publishers, just assume like, whatever, just put something on the disc and then they can download everything later. It's not a big deal. Like, they really need to start being more respectful with that kind of stuff. And that's potentially one of the main reasons why I got this. It's because it gives you that old school experience, that old school vibe, and everything that you need is in here, in this cartridge, according to what people have said. Like I said, I still have to like install it, see what the deal is with that. I might report back. If you guys are curious about what the game looks like on the Switch, then let me know, because I'll be checking it out at some point. But today I just kind of like, I just wanted to reminisce with you guys, and feels good, you know, that there are still companies that do this kind of stuff. Just feels good. I just love retail. I mean physical editions 1,000 times more than digital editions. Digital editions mean nothing, and they can, you know, they can be removed from stores. They can disappear. You don't actually own anything. Not that you own games nowadays. Just you have a license that allows you to play them, but still, you know, it's different having the physical item. And I know that a lot of you will disagree with that, and that's fine, but I just wanted to share something with you guys that is important to me. And I hope that we see more companies doing this moving forward, but I know that's probably not realistic nowadays. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching this kind of like sappier video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit it up with a like. Thank you very much for watching. And subscribe if you usually enjoy my stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong. May your shields never break.